Hi everyone. So today I'm going to go through the plot diagram for Good Enough, and you all are going to copy my notes into your notebook. And I know that I'm starting with a blank copy here, and a lot of you have yours filled out. So you can just kind of fast forward to the part where we left in class yesterday, since all of our classes left in different spots. But I'm just going to start from the beginning, especially for the students who weren't here yesterday. So again, fast forward to where you need to go to get to where we left off in class yesterday. All right, so we're working on our plot diagram for Good Enough as a way to really understand how the plot diagram works. We know that the exposition includes the characters in a story, the setting, and any necessary background information. Okay, so the beginning of the story starts with Dory, who's our protagonist, and we're going to write Dory, a young girl, once an Orion shirt, because, that's my abbreviation for because, the cool girls at school have them, but her working class mom, working class just indicates that, the mom is working for all of the money they have. Mom gives Dory a fake version for her B-Day. And the story starts with, we know Dory cries in the bathroom to hide her disappointment. Okay. So that's the exposition of the story, the very beginning, where we're introduced to the background, setting, and the main characters. So I mentioned in class yesterday that I like to then do the climax next to make sure that we don't accidentally write the climax in the rising action. And the rest of our chart just kind of will work itself out once we can figure out the climax. The climax is the hardest part to identify. So we want to think about not only what is an intense moment in the story, but also what is the moment in the story where Dory comes face to face with her main conflict, which is trying to fit in, and she changes in some kind of way. All right. So what we're going to write for the climax is Dory wears the fake shirt to school and is upset but realizes that crying about a shirt in the middle of the hallway is ridiculous. It's silly. She's like, why am I crying over a shirt? Okay, so that is our turning point in the story, when she has this realization that it's not that important what she's wearing, right? And that her mom, she envisions her mom buying her this shirt and how proud she would have been. Okay, so now we need to fill in the rest, okay? And like I said, it'll kind of just work itself out. So we want to think of 3 main scenes, scenarios that happen that leads up to this moment. So if we're thinking back to the beginning of the story after she's crying, we know that that was kind of like a flash forward, and then we go back in time. And that first scene when we go back in time is about when she's doing her math work, right? And her mom is like, what do you want for your birthday? Okay, so we're going to write here for the first scene is while Dory is working on her math homework, her mom asks her what she wants for her birthday, and Dory accidentally or reluctantly, I don't know if it was totally an accident that she said it, reluctantly tells her about the, I'm going to put expensive in parentheses here, expensive Orion shirt. Okay, that's the first event. Next event leading up to this moment where she changes her mind about what she wants is in the school hallway. All right, so Dory, we learn, was embarrassed in front of Lisa and friends, who we learn are the A group, right? So we could put A group in parentheses. Because she is or was wearing a hand-me-down shirt from her brother. So that was kind of like a memory moment, a flashback, but that happened next in the story. She was thinking about how embarrassed she was. And then lastly, before she has this, she wears this shirt to school, we have the birthday party, right? So we can say at Dory's birthday, I don't know if it was necessarily a party, but we can write birthday party. Her family gives her the fake shirt. I'm going to do in parentheses a picture of the 3 hearts because, you know, that was a symbol in the story. And her mom tells her, "You are so loved," because that was important words of the wiser moment. All right, and then we know that we have our turning point in the story where Dory changes her mind about how she feels. So now we have to come up with 2 events that happen after that to be the falling action. All right, so there's not a lot that happens after that. However, we can write that in her mind, Dory envisions her mother buying the shirt and remembers how much she is loved, because that "you are so loved" comes up again, right? And then lastly, we have Dory telling the A group it was the best gift she ever received. I'm going to put in parentheses when they ask if it's an Orion. Okay, so those are our falling action events. I know it's not really much of an event, but our final part here in the plot diagram is writing about the resolution of the story. Okay, so the resolution in the story is the very ending, and this is when, she walks away, basically. So we're going to write Dory walks away feeling good enough and I think we can kind of just leave it at that. All right, so now going back to these other important moments, remember I said in class yesterday that this is like this little moment over here where the diagram starts to go up the hill is basically like where we figure out what the conflict is. So I'm just going to make a little arrow there. And our main conflict in the story is when it's character versus self. It's most of the time it's going to be a character versus self is the main conflict. So we're going to write character versus self. Dory is trying to fit in with the A group by getting an Orion shirt. Okay, and she thinks that that's going to make her feel accepted. So going over to the theme, what is the lesson that Dory learns? What's the lesson that we learn through Dory is there's plenty of themes, but we can write something from our theme anticipation guide is wanting approval from others can affect our everyday choices. You might write something different than that if you want, but that was definitely one of the themes. Okay, so now our diagram is completed. Once you finish with this, you can then move on to working on your identity web for Dory. So you can just use the identity web that you completed for Valentina to guide you. You could also use the identity web posted on today's Schoology assignment, the one for Chloe from Each Kindness. And then don't forget to use the character traits and feelings chart to help you come up with answers. And you are more than welcome to work on this with a partner or two. And if you don't finish it, it's not homework. Please don't take it home for homework because you have your assessment tomorrow and we can finish this another time, okay? All right, everybody, I hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.